Making me clappy.
Hello!
Hello.
Our second episode of the Brave Pod.
Yeah.
Today, we're talking to Amor, this beautiful person to my left. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for being my co-initiator for the Brave Space.
Super.
Today, we want to find out a little bit more about you. What brings you here? Why you're here? Why bravery and courage and vulnerability is linked for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we talked about a lot. And I think your journey is very inspiring to many. So I'll be definitely asking about that too.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for keeping me. We've been chatting for such a long time.
That's a long time. I think for the record, for everyone, we've been talking about bravespace for the past 5 months, and now we're at a place where we're finally launching everything and whatnot, and we're always laughing a little bit. It's like how much we know about bravery now, because we've basically been chatting forever, every week for the past 5 months.
Yeah, it's dedication. It's dedication. That's what matters.
It's the work of mastery, you know. Let's hope so. Amor, tell us a little bit about why the Brave Space, our Brave Space, the Brave Space that we're trying to provide to many others, is important work for you, and why is an extension of yourself?
I think the extension part definitely catches up to what was going on in my head, is that I've experienced in my life that fear installs fear in others. And that's a sad thing. For instance, when I was 25, I broke my neck. And that was such a fearful event for the people who were my loved ones, who were just watching, couldn't do anything. That their fear for showing their fear turned them into very robotic human beings. They were muting their emotions towards me and only keeping an up spirit, and also not allowing my concerns or fears to rise, almost thinking that a strong person is not afraid, that a brave person is not vulnerable, all these misconceptions. And the reason why I am grateful for your just shouting out in the interwebs, I'm looking for somebody, and us connecting like this again, is that I see myself, I see a lot of people being lonely in their fears and in their journey to gather courage and bravery. And as far as I do believe that the work is something that you have to put in the blood, sweat, and tears, yet that everybody is putting in that work. So having a place where you can show your calluses on your hands, be like, hey man, I've been at this thing and it's not moving at all, but I'm gonna go back tomorrow and I'm gonna get it to move, is something that relieves a lot, like this feeling that you can have on your chest, that it's heavy, that it's like you cannot break through it. Just sharing that can be like so liberating. I've been digging very deep after my accident to get myself back up, back to life, back in participation. And for me, every step of the way was a deciding moment. Do I turn bitter or not? Do I remain joyful? Like, I think we can carry the weight of the world on our shoulders with a smile. It doesn't have to be heavy. But usually when you're thinking and perceiving that it's just you, then you might be less enthusiastic about your role in life. So I think seeing other people carrying their weight on their shoulders and sharing yours, I think, is such a, yeah, almost a tribal experience. Like, I haven't been raised in a tribe, but I can imagine that as a tribe, it is something that is part of the social fabric. Uh,
Mhm.
so in those terms, it resonates with my past, which I don't remember.
I love what you said about, um, I mean, I really love everything you said, but really about, like, when you're full of fear, then you evoke it in everybody else too.
Mm.
Um, and the same applies to the other way around, right? If you evoke optimism and proactivity, and abundance, um, then you instill that into others too. And I think this is really how we both got together in this unique place. What were some of the bravest moments, for you, as you were navigating this very different life that you were now about to design after your accident? Um, I know we talked a lot about like the phase afterwards, but also like your relationship, with your partner and whatnot. Like, very curious to hear, what some of that means for you in terms of bravery.
Um, I've had a lot of difficult periods with my parents,
Mm.
where I had to accept and acknowledge their difficulties, and um, yeah, almost put myself in their shoes while I already struggled being in my own shoes. So those were moments that uh, yeah, asked me to reach deep and also let go. Um, I think.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what it was that you had to let go of in order to come up again?
Um, yeah, it's a great question. I think um, remembering that everybody who shows up in your life eventually is there with unconditional love. Maybe you don't like the shape or form of it, and maybe you would like it in a different flavor.
Yeah.
Uh, they're there to give you love, and maybe it's annoying the hell out of you, and you're like, "This is not what I want. This is not what I asked for."
Yeah.
Uh, you're rejecting them. That's what you're forgetting, because and like the the letting go part is just like, yeah, I'm not gonna judge the shape or way that love is. This is the love of a parent, and that is what it is. I will not have a whole tantrum as a kid about it. So it was a lot of growing up for me in that sense.
Hmm.
While I thought I was grown up, so that was a good reality check.
Hmm.
Um, and I think, again, um, truly letting go of some weird construct that love is conditional. Uh, Truly, also in my relationship now, to be like, hey, actually, the only love that counts is unconditional love. Okay, and I deserve that. That second part, that I deserve it, I think is the biggest work that I am doing myself continuously to love myself unconditionally, love my partner unconditionally, and accept unconditional love, and leaving the fluff to the side. I think it's brave to say, "Hey, man, I'm imperfect. Like, Fran, I showed up late. I did not do my homework, but I do care about Brave Space, and this is what I got." Or in my
Yeah.
own career, just the amount of self judgment that takes place, which is not constructive, uh,
Hmm.
but just yeah, puts you in a more of a shaming yourself mode. And letting go of these things um, asks for new habits, and those habits need bravery to grow. And it's not impossible, but it's very easy to like get swung back in the old pattern and be like, no, actually, I'm not gonna just move out of calmness and be in peace with what is. So um, yeah, I think the
Beautiful.
biggest letting go for me was that I deserve love. Period. I
Mm.
find it scary because then I get used to love, and then what if it's not there? So there is this fear of the pain that will happen when there is no one to love me or care for me.
Yeah. I in the first uh, Brave Pod episode, we talked about my journey and the same, is a little similar history around commitment, right?
Most definitely, yeah.
Like there's such a huge relationship between committing and feeling safe in committing,
Mm.
um, because you deserve that unconditional, not only unconditional love, but almost like the unconditional attention and mutual growth, right? That comes with very important relationships. And yeah, to sort of like honor the space that you're standing in and say, yeah, I'm here to stay because I love you and you love me. Um, and we're promising that to each other.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's huge. I agree. Um, how do you try to sort of like swing a little bit into another direction just for others also to get to know you holistically? Um, what are some of the things that have changed for you professionally? I know when we met many years ago, I think in 2011 or 12,
Yeah.
um, you ambitious entrepreneurial, high energy, young man. While we're both semi young now. uh, what has changed for you? How did you get to the work that you're doing now?
A lot changed. I think the way I got to the work I'm doing now was by learning the hard way. I'm a person who you cannot tell me what's right. I need to do and find out by myself.
Yeah.
And as in my path as an entrepreneur, many people had told me many times that I would be great at coaching, asking the right question at the right time with the intuition. After my accident, I was actually disregarding the fact that I was handicapped and I just wanted to do what I did. So I had to have a couple of pretty intense burnouts and
Mhm.
pretty severe depressions also, and just actually, what I did for myself is um, work very hard until I had financial security that I was like, okay, now I can do whatever the hell I want to do. And first thing that was on my list was to take a sabbatical and write an autobiography.
Mhm.
And in that process of reflection and standing still and finally allowing all the feelings that I was just like, okay, I'll check you later. Uh,
Yeah.
to write it out, I had to feel it again. Um, I was I was able to burn the old to the ground and rise anew. And I really needed that. And I remind myself daily of that practice to see like the phoenix cannot rise from its ashes if it doesn't burn first. So you got to be willing to burn. And this
Yeah.
burning part is painful. Um, but for me, I think the work I'm doing nowadays is evolving around change. Like I know change like no other. I think it has been a very constant in my life. Um, and I know a lot of people have the change that they desire, that they're looking out to achieve. And life will throw you a bunch of stuff that is not what you signed up for. How do you deal with that? And there is also a lot of change that is part of your destiny. You can go left and right, but it will show up in your life, whether it's in your health, whether it's in your family. It is part of your life, and it is something that if you do not get good at adapting to it, you almost cut yourself short on how well you're able to evolve in life.
Yeah.
So um, I believe we need energy to do all that, and it's just not physical. It's all of you needs to be on a high level to be able to reprogram yourself from the core over and over again. And I think we can, and I think uh, I need the practice and the work that I'm doing to keep evolving myself. So as I'm teaching this to other people, I'm learning from them as well.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Um, mm, yeah. As a in the work as a coach, I find the most beautiful thing is that there's daily learning involved, right? You get to speak with your partners, aka your clients, and you get to like, be in classes, and you get to read, and everything is fuel. Everything just like brings out a new way of looking at things, and um, yeah, bringing your perspective to your partners. When when you think about Brave Space and your work, what's what's the most complementary thing that you're experiencing in the work that we're trying to like push out there? What's the and in many ways also what's the most meaningful element in all of that? Like where does your work converge most significantly with Brave Space?
Yeah, I think there are parts of life that put us in a fight mode, or put us in a freeze mode, or we feel like we're the victim. Like parts of life that give us stress, and then how we react to that stress differs person to person, situation to situation. In my work, I teach people to notice that and act on that to shift out of that state. And I think within Brave Space, actually, we're stepping into, hey guys, we're going to sign up for feeling like fighting or feeling like life is horrible. And we're going to try to elevate ourselves out of that because we're going through a passage. So the overlap that I experience is acknowledgement of pain and stress without being flagged as whimsy or flimsy, or or however you want to call it. So I think, yeah, the doing the work is for me what I'm about when I engage with people and facilitate people. And I think within Brave Space, yeah, we're gathering people who are signing up to do the work for themselves to grow.
Yeah, in community, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I almost have like a one of I think probably final. Maybe there's one more question, but like I almost have a question for both of us. It's sort of like, what do we both think is the bravest thing you can do as a leader? And in many ways, we're all leaders of our own lives, right? So it's it's that kind of leadership, but also like if you're showing up for others, to lead them. What's the bravest thing? What are some of the characteristics that you think are really important?
Um, I'm soaking it in. I think
Mm,
the biggest one that I can mention is also my stance towards the community that we're creating within Brave Space.
mm,
Is that maybe the leader has gotten a chip on his shoulder towards responsibility and accountability, but it does not mean that they exceed the janitor in in whatever sense. The the group, the tribe is the organism that can only function with all parts of it. So um, they're equally important, and I think it is the leader's job to remind everybody of that. So it is great to look up at a leader, but actually, I think a leader is a great leader if they look up to all their people.
yeah, that is in fact like a very brave in a society like we are into right now. That is a seemingly very brave thing. Like, it was just inauguration in the US, and it's something that I felt when you were just said that. It's a picture that popped into my head when you said that. I was
Mm,
like, um, yeah, sort of like we're coming back together as people. What you described, and I think this is what I would say to that too, is like what you described is pretty much for me the definition of conscious leadership too.
mm,
Sort of like becoming aware of your own self as one part of the whole, sum, right, of contributions and responsibilities and abilities. And I think leading as a leader means to continuously be surprised by what else you can learn, and continuously listen actively to everybody around you. And it's I'm you and I both know that it's hard because the stress and the short timelines, and it's hard, but so even more important to, I think, as we're entering our brave space too, to give people a practice,
yeah,
so they become intuitively aware of that stuff, and make it a muscle that's just there. Grow the muscle, flex the muscle, and keep the muscle alive. Right? Keep it fit. It's an emotional fitness element almost. So
definitely. Yeah, the ability to rely on others and feel
yeah.
okay with that instead of like ah.
I feel like that sums it all up. I feel like that's brave space, right? Like lean into lean into normalizing discomfort by leaning into others and accepting help. 100%.
Definitely.
Super grateful for this conversation. Is there anything that you asked me this wonderful question of like, is there anything that I should have asked you? Is there anything that that you want to say, or that I didn't mention but you wanted to talk about it?
Mm, no, I believe we had a pretty nice flowing conversation. Only thing I would give to our listeners, I am a person that for a very long time of his life believed that I wasn't afraid of anything because I did not understand the use of fear. But I definitely had to discover um, how actually emotionally sensitive I am and how easily I can be triggered into a fear response. But to realize that just clenching your jaw is the opposite of bravery. It is just freezing. And
Yeah.
I am now in a place in life that I'm really happy that I can get shaky hands and then sweaty palms and then all that and deal with that. So if you're afraid of anything or nothing, then Brave Space might be a place to check out what you can do with that fear.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. Can we make that our tagline?
It's up for grabs. Yeah, let's do it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you on the next pod.
See you on the next pod.
Ciao.